Welcome everybody to another edition of WCW 2003 as we're continuing on the road to Halloween Havoc here in TEW 2020 as we're in beautiful Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Well, probably not that beautiful considering it's October and it's Oklahoma, but regardless, we're here for Nitro as it's the first week of October, so let's get rolling. So first we got our pre-show match. We're in a decent pre-show match. Alex Wright, Air Paris, and Jack Evans defeats Lestat, Reno, and Sean Stasiak in 15:26 when Air Paris pinned Reno with this diving leg drop. This gets a 72. Again, this is just, people who aren't on the show getting some in-ring time. Evans gets a 73, Air Press gets a 75, Alex Wright gets a 77, Sean Stasiak gets a 60, Reno gets a 58, Lestat gets a 65. But yeah, just brief show match to get some people on the show some in-ring time because they're not part of this show or part of the cycle at the moment. We move on to our opening promo, which gets a 94 because all these guys are awesome. So basically, the Horsemen open the show. They go over your drill deals. Jared and Douglas. Talk about how they're not going to be left behind. They're still one of the greatest tag teams in professional wrestling today, and one or the other, they're going to be back at the top of the mountain once all these young punks who think if they do a couple flips, they deserve the titles. Have to step out of the way. Then then there's the big promo Kanyon round that nobody's better than Kanyon, and last week we proved that by laying the law down to RVD, who just thinks because I've never beaten him that I can't beat him, but he's just part of the conspiracy to keep me away from the world title. That's why he continued fighting with me instead of trying to defeat Guerrero at Fall Brawl, and that's why he's going to brawl with me now. And then that cues RVD to come out, basically go, dude, again, what's your problem with me? I'm just trying to win matches, get shots on pay-per-views, and become world champion just like you are. So I could say that you're in my way, bro. But, you're in my way. I'm in your way. Let's figure this out once and for all at Halloween Havoc. And one or the other, no countouts, no DQs, no time limits. Just one-on-one, man. Just one-on-one. We'll figure out who's the better man. Kanyon agrees because nobody's better than Kanyon. Then Flair steps in and says, Flair does some Flair stuff, does woo, remembers every, oldest ride, longest line, and that cues Chuck Palumbo to come out and basically yeah, I heard you last night. What I heard last night was you being an out-of-touch asshole, trying to insult Stacy, because she would never touch you. Ooh. So, they argue a little more. We set up a tag team match for later tonight, but also for Havoc, we have officially announced that it's going to be in a huge match. To continue their long-term feud that's going for a couple of months now, Rob Dynamic versus Kanyon. So yeah, this gets a 94. Everybody does really well. Well, Palumbo didn't do perfectly, but he's still pretty good. And yeah, announcing was weak. People have some hot catchphrases, and yeah, everybody's happy. So let's get rolling. So we have a quick promo where basically Rey Mysterio, puts over the fact that tonight he's facing one of Shane Helms' underlings, Cash. Cash is a great wrestler, but he's going to prove to him that why, he's been the king of the cruiserweights, and why at Halloween Havoc he's going to take the U.S. title off Shane Helms' waist, and he's going to become the United States champion once more. Solid promo. Rey Jr.'s solid with this. This was just a short promo, just sort of put over the match for later tonight. And then as we come back from commercial, we have an Angel Fox and Lexi James showdown. Basically, they have a match tonight. Angel Fox, thanks for the support, says, she got screwed out of the title at Fall Brawl without even being pinned. So she's going to beat Lexi James tonight. And then when that happens, there's no way Gail Kim can't give her one-on-one match at Havoc. Lexi James comes down and reminds her that she's the head bitch in charge of World Championship Wrestling, and she's going to beat her down just like she's done before. And, she doesn't mind that Gail Kim screwed you out of the title, bimbo, but she also screwed me out of the title, and that's my real problem. Then they start to fight, and here we go. So this gets a 62, perfectly solid showdown. These guys are still getting slowly more over as we actually build a women's division. Match itself gets a 60. About had terrible wrestling, analysis, and crowd heat. Come on, that's mean. Angel Fox defeated Lexi James in 9:39 by pinfall with an angel snap. Angel Fox gets a 43. Lexi James gets a 53. Good stuff. And then Angel Fox celebrating afterwards gets a 62. Then we go backstage, where we have Kim and Awesome doing a promo where they basically put over the fact that, Kimmon's the reasons why I'm teaming with Awesome realizes that, he needs just more than April as backup. And Awesome is one of the toughest men in WCW. And they're going to wreak havoc and get to the top of the card and prove that he's the true future World Championship Wrestling. And it sure isn't some beefed up blowhard or some boring guy from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. So yeah, Awesome, just looks angry in the back. April Hunter looks like April Hunter. And there we go. Just a really solid promo to put over, the continuing feud between Kevin and Awesome and O'Hara, and I guess now Lance Storm. Because that Team Canada breakup is just continuing and continuing. But this gets a 76. Really solid promo as we move forward. So yeah, then we go backstage, where basically Shane Helms is hyping up Cash, saying, Rey Jr. talks about he's king of cruiserweight. He's never faced you, really. He never faced a guy who's grown up among the boom of the cruiserweights, who's wrestled all over this country and overseas, and who's younger, better in the future. Ignore the fact Rey Jr.'s still 27 at this point. He's even 30. No, he's not even 30 at this point, regardless. Holmes just does he'll think from he's the greatest United Champion of all time, and tonight we're going to kick Rey Jr.'s ass and remind him what's coming to him at Havoc. 74 promo because Helms is good, Cash is really good, and O'Neal is there. And Rey Jr. is, of course, really over. And now we go on to our next match, which is in a terrible match. Ooh, that's mean. Jason Jett and Paul London defeated 3 count, of all people, in 4-13 when Paul London pinned Shannon Moore with a London calling. This is just a quick squash win to give Jett and London a big solid win. 47, not the best thing ever, but gives them some momentum. And then, they're celebrating when some, country rockish music hits, and out comes America's Most Wanted. But they look a little different. Oh, whoops. I could have sworn. Okay, that's interesting. Oh. Let me check something real quick. So, anyway, sorry about that. What happened with that is I thought I had done some game changes for people, but I had closed out TEW 2020 before I had finished them, and it didn't save, so yeah, fun times for Jesse. But anyway, so what happened was that basically, Jett and London were doing celebrating, AEW came out and says, without Jerry Lawler, and said, they're on their own now, but they're the new America's Most Wanted, and they're focused on getting back to the top of the tag team division, and they're going to prove why they were the tag team of the half year, and why they're going to prove once again, that they're the future of the tag team division, and nobody else in this division, including Jett and London, stand a chance. And they'll see they'll see next week exactly what they mean. So just a little tension between these guys. But anyway, so now we go backstage where we have the Los Guerreros, running into Booker backstage, and they have a little admiration society. Booker puts over Eddie, saying he has a real shot to win the world title, even though, Booker mentions that, he thinks he really has never gotten a fair shot at winning the world title so far this year, but, says that, after winning at War Games, he's focused on taking out Morningstar at Havoc, and there's nothing, that Deadpool can do to stop him, but he'll have Eddie's back, because, he hates the Deadpool, and he's like, Eddie basically appreciated it, but he doesn't want war with the Deadpool, he just wants the world title, and he's going to, prove to the world that, he deserves a shot at the top, and, that, but he's still a Guerrero, and Guerreros do what they need to do to win, and, Vampiro can have all his dirty tricks, but, there's nothing Eddie won't do to become world champion for the very first time, and climb to the top on top here in World Championship Wrestling. So, just your basic babyface promo, puts over their feud to the Deadpool, and first let's put over this match that's happening, so, because they also mentioned basically during the, officially, it's Booker versus Morningstar, at the pay-per-view, and yes, they have poor chemistry, but, at some point you need to do a blow-off to a feud, even if they have poor chemistry, I just know to keep it short. We're also doing a quick, because basically Eddie's first gimmick coming back was sort of bad, and more importantly, it gives him a negative boost to a drain on his charisma during angles, and that's the last thing I need. So yeah, so he now it's a Guerrero Family Legacy gimmick, and his initial rating is very good. So here's the thing: it doesn't give him any booms or burdens, but it's just a very good gimmick, and that means his charisma is back where it should be. So this gets a 79 just because it's a It's a backstage segment. It's sort of focused on Vampiro and Morningstar and Macias, and it just puts everybody over. But yeah, anyway, moving on to our match, where we had about had good wrestling and decent record in the crowd. Kaz defeated Jeff Hardy by submission with a Kaz mission after a distraction from Ebony Sable. So basically back and forth, really good, high-flying match. Ironically, this card is basically like outside of the main event and the opener, a whole bunch of like cruiserweight-style matches. So in the end, the cruiserweights won. But anyway, back and forth, Kaz does his punk heel stuff, kicking, bit quick suplexes, crying trap and submission. But, Jeff Hardy's fighting back, and it looks like he's going to get the huge win over Kaz, continue the road on to Havoc. But then MD Sable comes in, and that distracts Hardy for just long enough for Kaz to basically slip behind him, roll him into the Kaz mission, and with nowhere to go, Hardy has to tap out. So 74, really good match. Kaz gets a 65, Hardy gets an 86. So what happens is then J.B. Noble comes down to the ring, and he basically, goes like, thanks, Kaz, sort of bows to him sort of mockingly, because, these guys used to be in the Young Dragons before Hardy sells, but then, Kaz sort of points at the belt, then kicks at Noble. Noble sort of backs off, says, hey, and so, sort of points at Ebony Sable. Kaz sort of stared us with Ebony Sable ready to go at him because, he's still, because he's, he's a punk heel, so he's not being scared of some random bodyguard. And Noble's, come on, we can be friends, but, basically Noble and Sable eventually back off, but Kaz continues to point at the belt. So this gets a 60, and there we go. So it looks like, might be a little more confusion in the cruiserweight ranks so far. Okay, that's interesting. So we have a promo where basically Bill Goldberg comes out, and he, says, for week after week, month after month, I've had to deal with the Deadpool. I have to deal with Vampiro. I have to deal with Morningstar. I have to deal with Lestat. Most importantly, I have to deal with Macias. He's a scary monster. Well, I faced down months before Macias. And at Havoc, I want you one more time. So Macias, you're next. And Macias comes down, and we have a stare down, and it looks like to be a brawl before officials come down. And, basically there we go. So this gets a 90, because that's great. Pretty good, not the best thing ever, but still. So that sort of sets that up, as we're really building up Havoc here. So we'll put that in, and yeah. So yeah, gets a 90, really just, basically our second big promo after the opening, and that sort of sets up, one of our big matches. Because Goldberg Macias is probably, honestly, outside of, I guess there's Goldberg Macias, there's RVD Can't Win, which is another really big match, and the world title match. You can make the argument that any of those three could be the actual main event. The world title is going to be in the main event because it's the world title match, but all six of those guys are really over. Anyway, and then we have a Gail Kim promo, where she sort of goes to the fact, she's the most talented women's wrestler in this company, and she's going to bring women's wrestling here to prominence. She's a blue chipper. She may not have, she may not look like the type of woman that WCW wants to, put face forward as she's looked at the rest of the women's roster, but she's going to stay the world champion because she's the best wrestler, and there's nothing Angel Fox can do about it. 65, solid promo. Gail Kim's really getting better, and she can have a nice, really solid heel run in the women's division here. So that'll be good as we move on. So in a match this banged. This is really good. And about had good wrestling and decent reaction from the crowd. Rey Mysterio defeated Cash in 14:30 by pinfall with Mysterio Rana, which I think is like a Dragon Rana or a reverse Hurricane Rana. I forget. I'm sure it's something awesome. Regardless, so Rey Jr. gets a 92. Cash gets a 67. Match itself gets an 85. They have great chemistry. So this is just, every great Rey Mysterio Jr. match ever. Cash, tries to hit his big moves. Rey Jr. avoids them. And eventually Rey Jr. hits huge moves that gets pinfall victory. Just quick enough that nobody can run in. But of course, everybody does run in. So we've got Cash and Gigantes running in. Rey Jr. doing his best to fight off. But eventually Rhodes and Konnan makes the save. Out of nowhere, they mentioned that, they've been feuding with, they've been feuding with Holmes Legacy for a while now, but they haven't been seen on Nitro in a little while, and the brawl continues, and everybody's fight, before officials come down and break it up. So this gets a 68. Solid stuff, not the biggest stuff ever, but it still just, gets this over and continues the feud. Then we're backstage with another quick promo where basically Sean O'Haire puts over the fact that, he doesn't care who he faces. He's committed to being the future of World Championship Wrestling. But if Awesome and Kidman are upset about that, then he'll happily team with Lance Storm to take the both of them on. And at the end, they'll have to face the Future Shock just like everybody else. 76, really solid promo. And, it'll be basically officially announced on TV on like Saturday night. That's the next match setup. So we got Sean O'Haire and Lance Storm taking on Mike Awesome and Billy Kidman as a big tag match. Then finally, it's main event time, and wow, this was really good. This is like really fucking good. As an exceptional match, Kanyon and Ric Flair defeated RVD and Chuck Palumbo in 1840 when Kanyon pinned Chuck Palumbo with a flatline after, let's say, Johnny Lawler interfered, but basically, it's a mess on the outside. RVD's been taken out by a little blow by Flair. Palumbo hits a big Palumbo kick on Flair, talking him to the outside, but Kanyon is ready with a flatliner of his own and gets a pinfall right in the middle of the ring. So this gets a 94. Palumbo gets an 88. RVD gets a 95. Flair gets a 77. Kanyon gets a 92. 94, like just a really good match. Like just actually, I expected like low 90s for this because everybody's really over and Flair's like still good for his age. But yeah, I did not expect a 94. But anyway, as we move on, we have the heels celebrating to basically end the show as Palumbo and RVD are in the ring upset. The heels, do mocking heel stuff. And there we go. As this gets an 87. As we finish off with a 91. So a really good show. And we're a good show without really pushing the world title feud. So far, we had this short little thing with Eddie and Booker. But we set up Goldberg Macias. We even had that like little tag match with Jet in London. We sort of set up I'll officially add that in a second here. The women's title match, and the continuation of the Rey Jr. Cash stuff. That Hardy Kaz match was actually better than I thought. So let me actually add in one other match for that. So we'll pre-book one more match for Havoc, because it should be fairly set up here. So we got Gail Kim versus Angel Hawks, which is probably, honestly, at this point, probably like our biggest women's match we can do, as far as overness, heel face, and everything else. So before I show you Raw, WF had Unforgiven last night. So let me show you what their booking is looking like as compared to mine. So we got events on TVs. Oops, nope, that's not it. Show history. So they had Unforgiven, which got a 93, because of course it did. So let's look at their booking. I'll ignore the pre-show. So we had Terry defeating Selena Majors. We had DDP and the Radicals defeating Kevin Nash and TNA. We had Matt Hardy defeating Steven Richards to retain the European title in a 78. We had Molly Holly and Jackie Gata defeating Lita and Ivory. We had Raven defeating Jerry Lynn. Okay. William Regal defeating Grandmaster Sexy. We had Team Angle of Billy Gunn and Christian defeating Bump and Grind, who are, Rikishi and Val Venus, to retain the tag titles. We had Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho teaming up to defeat the Dudley Boys, which kind of makes sense because the Dudley Boys are with Team Angle. Randy Orton defeated Chris Benoit by DQ in a match that had been for the IC title, which got an 84. We had Steve Austin defeating The Undertaker, Triple H, and Shane McMahon, of all people, in a 99 match, because of course it was. Kurt Angle defeating Kane in a 99, because of course it was. And then in the main event, Brock Lesnar defeating The Big Show in a 92 that retained the world title. Now, if we go back to the main part, we've got for Raw, we've got, let's see here, what did they do? Lesnar and Show, Taker and Angle, Scott Hall and Wild and Wicked, which is Nelson Knight and Brian Christopher defeated Quick and Sexy. Chris Jericho defeated Cheetah Kid in a squash match. Shawn Michaels defeated Rod Wanderman. Triple H defeated Perry Saturn of all people, which got a 93. Kane and Big Show defeated the Dudley Boys, which is interesting. And then Kurt Angle defeated Randy Orton. It says in a cage match, which, that was probably awesome. Yes, Randy Orton gets a 99, basically a year into his WWF career, so that's really good. But actually, we had we had the slightly better show because they didn't have really a great angle. Their best angle was like hell, they didn't have a great angle at all. That's interesting. See, Raw's the in-ring show now. That's hilarious to me. Let's see here. Yep, nothing about Nitro. So that's it for Nitro. We're continuing on the road to Havoc. We've got 2 more shows in Havoc. But, as I went over before, yesterday, we still have the WCW Mayhem Pick'em contest. Again, I'll include a link with both this on YouTube and on the post on Reddit. Follow the link, just sign up, follow directions, put who you want to win. I'll include also at the booking prizes as part of the YouTube post and also on the Reddit post, just so people are aware again. And yeah, that's it. It'll be fun. Just pick, even if you haven't paid 100% attention to this series, just see who you would want to win in 2003 and go from there. But anyway, this is it for now. So talk to you later. Have a good one, but go ahead and give me a like if you're enjoying this. Comment below on what you're liking and not liking, and subscribe to the channel for lots more TEW 2020 content. But that's it for now, so talk to you later, and adios.